necessarily, I know we had a purpose for that conference and we wanted to get folks together and kind of felt like it was going to flow. But I know I stuck around Santa Cruz for a minute, and I'd kind of just like come around and, oh yeah, ABC conference is coming up next week, we got sign-in sheets. I was like, whoa, well what have you been doing up until then? Like if this is a coalition, it doesn't, you know, we can have a coalition and have a conference, and those are two separate things. So seeing folks that are coming together just for a conference, I was like, well, I'm glad folks are still coming together, but have you been in contact? Who's the rep for the campus? What kinds of things do you talk about in November? What kinds of things are you guys talking about in January? Like, I don't know, but I know the conference is in Davis or wherever it was at particular time. And so in that sense of folks not maintaining contact and it being like work that you do throughout the year, I feel like that vision was lost. And I think it's really necessary as a coalition. You can't function as a coalition if you don't have one purpose that you're working on throughout the entire year. Because we can all get, you got educated black folks in the room, we're going to be able to sit and talk about anything no matter what the workshop is, whatever the conversation is. We can have a talk at a conference. But if we want to call ourselves the African Black Coalition, then we need to be working as a coalition and working on these same issues for the year in individual campuses.
So the question, once again, of purpose and direction. Did you, I know folks, we're just utilizing because we do have alumni folks here. What for you was the reason why you came in the first place? For you, what was the purpose? What was the direction? And I think that'll give us some insight.
So honestly, when I came to Santa Barbara that first meeting, Santa Cruz I just been elected the external chair of our Black organization on campus, and we were feeling really isolated. If folks have been to Santa Cruz, feeling really isolated in Santa Cruz and wanting to have a conference. It wasn't really about a coalition, it was about a conference. And then when we came to Santa Barbara and seeing like in a matter of days when we were calling different folks, okay, everyone's got a friend, at least one friend on a different UC campus, call that friend. And that week, within a matter of a week that we were sending out the phone calls, we got a phone call about a meeting in Santa Barbara. So I'm like, okay, we show up, and it was just for the intention of a conference. But there was an opportunity for a coalition. We didn't really know what it was going to come to be about, but I know that I'm going to show up. I got to Santa Barbara, and to hear the different stories of different Black experiences of students on different UC campuses, for me, that was really empowering. And at that moment, in that first day of that first meeting, I was like, it's really necessary for us all to be in communication and know that what you're going through on this campus is not just specific to you. And I don't think that you should have to go through that on your own. So we're talking about dependency and how we can really utilize our communities, and even just sharing your story. And I was like, okay, so we need to be in communication. And whatever that communication is about is necessary for us to be talking to each other and know what's going on different campuses so that we have that support. Because being a part, I was a student government officer, so I was very active in the University of California Student Association and very active in the United States Students Association. And just being able to see how different student populations are very connected. And if anything goes down, I know we had to have our Student of Color Conference at San Diego because of some stuff that was going on with the Koala newspaper back then. So, and it was like, folks shouldn't have to deal with things on their campus by themselves. And if you're about community and you're about support, you don't know how to support somebody if you're not in communication with them. So just being able, I thought that coalition initially was about communication and being able to know what's going on different campuses.
So what you saw was the power and the healing that comes through communication and through those shared experiences. So folks for around the room, we are talking about purpose. If folks really do have some ideas about how to come to that common purpose, that would be good. And also, what is your vision for the organization?
Touching off of some other stuff that you said, I think a big thing that we need to talk about is class. Like me personally, I came from Baldwin Hills, so I never, like the prison industrial complex or none of that was ever like super in my face. But at the same time, it's like, to me, I don't know, like something about the African Black Coalition, like us being in this space, no matter whether I feel comfortable being African American or Black or whatever, I identify with what this space represents. So just in that, that's a common ground. You can call yourself whatever you want as long as you're here for the same thing that we're here for. So to me, like honestly, if somebody hurts, if something's hurting my community, it hurts me. To see how like fuck like shit like stuff is really bad. Like seriously, it's like when you're in your like the UCs kind of serve as a bubble, and when you're separated from a lot of stuff at your campus, and not even like for me specifically, my whole life, a lot of stuff I didn't know there was racism until I went to college, like to be serious. So I think that like if anything, like we need to, I think part of building a coalition or whatever, or getting like this passion, is realizing what made, like why are you here? Like why do you want to be here? Like to me, I'm here because when Black people hurt, I hurt. That sounds corny or whatever, but like seriously, like the stuff that's happening to our community is not fair. The fact that the same shit happens in every single state, in every single city, is more than a coincidence, and it's not fair. It's like holding us back, and we need to have personal agency over ourselves, and we do, and that's what this is for. So that's like where the passion, as far as I come, like honestly, any issue we come around is gonna be of importance to me, just because I'm sure like us coming together to pick an issue that affects our community will be something, it's hurting us, and I'm down with that. So I think as far as that, like maybe in helping in that process, it will be helpful to brainstorm and look into like what is a prison industrial complex? Like that's something that's thrown around, but what is it? Why is that affecting our community? Why is that, like why do police brutality, like how these things, like other organizations like the Black Panthers, they had like programs to affect like different things in our community. So like how we can effectively do that, I feel will yield passion and purpose to this space. Last thing, damn it. So the last thing, I can't think of that, but I don't know exactly where this, like, where, like, if there's a time later for us to brainstorm ideas or something, but I think that would be a very effective thing to utilize the space for. And maybe since we're here, something we can do to make, like they were saying, like ABC is a conference, so we need to be bringing something to that space and taking something away from that space. So in here, or whenever, if we could find an issue, maybe we can have a report from each school about how that issue has affected them or their community. How does this affect the Black people in Santa Barbara? Because this stuff isn't isolated. How does it affect Black people in LA? How does it affect Black people in Irvine? Bring that to the conference and work from that, and then take something away, and it'll be something that's worked on for the whole year. Like someone was saying, you just come. It'll be something like to put that together will take until ABC, and then when we're at ABC, we'll pick another one, and it'll take a year. Like you'll be able to see the progress, and it'll be tangible and written and in someone's hand.
So you're getting into some leadership structure issues. We pick a critical issue, but then how do we follow up on it? And there are some issues outside of those critical issues which are still pertinent to us as a community that we need to be discussing on East Campus. We had a comment?
Man, I've been hearing this. It's really good to be here, and I'm glad that everyone's here. But just in order to answer the question of the purpose of ABC, I'm gonna take it back just a little bit. As far as like why they were seeking the desegregation of higher education, it was because there's a realization that our educational facilities weren't proportionate to that of the white man, or like Florida A&M is not proportionate to, say, Harvard. So I mean, they realized that, and I think bringing it to now, ABC was formed to basically help Black people succeed in an educational facility that was not meant for us. So I mean, it's basically how do we assimilate into an institution where we weren't supposed to succeed.
What do you mean it's not for us? We're all tax-paying citizens.
Exactly. But I mean,
how's it not for us?
Because our culture is so different. I mean, like there's just so many aspects of our culture. Like our struggle is not the same struggle that a white man went through. So therefore, the way we teach, the way we walk, the way we dress, the way we act,